Welcome to another episode of the Carlito Monroe Show. I'm your host, Carlito Monroe. And before we get started, got some information at the bottom of the screen, social media information. Got the YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Got the Instagram, follow me on Instagram. Got the TikTok, follow on TikTok. And the Cash App, donate whatever you want to on the Cash App. Whatever's donated will be appreciated. I also want to thank the truckers. I think my last show I forgot to thank them, but I appreciate the truckers more than they realize. Anytime I see one, I always thank them. Guy, gals, I thank them for their service. They look at me funny because they're not used to anybody thanking them for their service. I know they're doing a job, but I know they're out there grueling hours trying to stay awake and stay in the lanes and get our goods and services where they need to get to so we can get them. So I think they're highly important. And if you see a truck driver, thank them for their service. All right. Man, I wasn't sure I was going to do a episode or show about this or not, but they've been talking about it in the media, and I figured, well, why not add my 2 cents in there? Alex Jones. I didn't know who this guy was, and the first time I heard about him was he was like I realized later on it was other things going on with him, but the first time I heard about it was like, oh well, the lawsuit and he lost and he owes $965 million to 8 families, and I was like, Jesus Christ, $965 million. And I was like, yo, that's a lot of money. This guy's got to be worth $2 or $3 billion, And when I looked it up, I think he was worth like 135, 200 million, something like that, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he's not rich or well off. But it's still quite a bit of money, without a doubt. But there's no hard number on his net worth, and I think it's kind of hard to gauge when he's somebody that's really not in the public eye. I mean, he is in the public eye, but he's not in the public eye like that. The average person does not know who he is unless you listen to his information. He's got this InfoWars thing, and he does a lot of talking about conspiracy theories, and this is basically what got him into this mess. And he said some things about the Sandy Hook murders. And I don't know if people are familiar with that or not, but the Sandy Hook murders were, was at the school, and I forgot exactly where it was. I'm gonna read an article and then see what exactly where it was at. But it was a lot of children were killed, and along with some staff members. So it's a highly sensitive subject. It happened years ago. I think 2012 or 13 or something. I think it's 2012. It happened a long time ago, but it's a sensitive subject. And the first thing he did was, he was talking tongue in cheek, and he's saying, "Oh, it's a hoax. They're all acting. That didn't happen. That's a government conspiracy." And his followers are like, "Yeah, and they believe in him." And I guess the families got wind of that and was like, "Nah, man, you're not doing this," and they filed lawsuits. I believe this one was a class action suit, and they prevailed. They won. It's $965 million. Man, that's a crazy amount of money. But I'm gonna look at this article that I had looked up where it's talking about him. It's Alex Jones, but his actual name is Alexander Emmerich Jones. Born February 11th, 1974. He's an American far-right, alt-right radio show host and prominent conspiracy theorist. He hosts the Alex Jones Show from Austin, Texas, which is on the Genesis Communication Network, broadcasting across the United States, syndicated and internet radio. Jones' website, InfoWars, promotes conspiracy theories and fake news. So it's just saying it's fake news. That's just how it go. That's what he does. It's crazy. As he does other websites, News Wars and Prison Planet. Jones has provided a platform and support for white nationalists, giving United the Right attendee and white supremacist Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I had to look him up. A platform on its website banned video as well as serving as an entry point to their ideology. Uh, Man, according to this guy's something else anyway. I never heard of this guy. And it's crazy. Uh, but here's another part here. It says the conspiracy theories promoted by Jones allege that the United States government either concealed information about and outright falsified the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School mass shooting, the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, the September 11th attacks, and the 1969 moon landing. Yeah, I kind of that moon thing is something else too, but I got my own theory on that. But let's continue. He has claimed that several governments and big businesses had colluded to create a new world order through manufactured economic crisis, sophisticated surveillance tech, and above all, inside job terror attacks that fuel explodable hysteria. And anything's possible. I mean, all this stuff that he's talking about, it's all possible. But is it a fact? I mean, you don't know. I mean, you would have to be a part of the government, a part of the government that's on, that's doing part of this stuff and see if the man actually was on the moon and, different things like that. The September 11th, man, that's crazy. How do you fake that? Or, I mean, I guess he's trying to say that they intentionally did that to cause this hysteria, kill these different people to do that. I mean, it's to me personally, it's a little far fetched, but I mean, hey, this is what he's been saying. Well, here more recently in 2022 for Jones' defamatory falsehoods about the Sandy Hook shooting, juries in Connecticut and in Texas have awarded $965 million and $50 million in damages, respectively, from Jones to families of Sandy Hook shooting victims and the first responders. They had alleged that Jones' falsehood led them to being threatened and harassed for years. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. I can see that if you have somebody that has a platform, like this is my platform, is a very small platform. I'm just starting. I'm not even a guy that wants to be as big as somebody like him. I'm a regular guy. I just want somebody to watch and hear what I have to say and my thoughts on different things, just to have a voice, not necessarily this huge voice. But when somebody has a huge platform like him, they can say anything. So for him to say something like that, I can see the people involved, the families could be harassed. Like, yeah, you guys were in on with the government, and I can see that happening. Were they getting harassed to the degree that they could barely breathe or go anywhere? But I mean, I don't know. Probably, it could be, but I can see something coming behind that because you're going to believe the bigger voice. This guy's famed and he said this is what it is. So as far as the fans go, or people who are not even fans, just hearing a different side of the coin, they're going to say, yeah, he is right. You guys are big liars. It was all staged. Admit it. They could have been getting harassed. So I don't know if they deserve that kind of money, but I mean, hey, that's what the courts are for. They decide that. The jury decided it, so they get it. But here's some more about his litigations, different things he went on. And it says here, the Pizzagate conspiracy theory. I kind of heard of that. The Pizzagate conspiracy theory. It had something to do with the Hillary Clinton and some Democrats and some emails and codes or something. I vaguely remember that, but I'll read about it here. The Pizzagate conspiracy theory. In February of 2017, James Alphatis, owner of Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria, sent Jones a letter demanding an apology and retraction of his advocacy of Pizzagate conspiracy theory. Jones was given 1 month to comply or be subject to libel suit. In March 2017, Jones apologized to Alphatis, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and retracted his allegations. Man, I'm going to have to look up that Pizzagate thing there. I think it did have something to do with like the Hillary Clinton, and it was a couple of Democrats and some emails, and this pizza place was involved. So apparently, the owner of this pizza place just, hey, we want you to recant what you said, or we're suing. And he's just like, okay, and okay, all I said, I take it back, and sorry about that. So he just apologized, and he avoided getting sued. Here's another one, Chobani Yogurt Company. In April of 2017, the Chobani Yogurt Company, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, the Chobani Yogurt Company filed suit against Jones for his claims that their factory in Idaho employs refugees was connected to a 2016 child sexual assault and a rise in tuberculosis. As a result, Jones issued an apology and retracted of his allegations in May 2017. This guy's already showing a pattern. He just says stuff. And he says stuff and he gets viewers and he gets to charge, or whatever company he's with, they get to charge millions of dollars for ad dollars to advertise on his thing because he's getting all these viewers coming to listen to his conspiracy theories, and he's just spewing troll stuff. He's just saying anything. I can do that. Anybody can do that. I can just start saying conspiracy theory stuff and probably become this huge platform because people halfway believe what I'm saying, or they already kind of thought that anyway. And it looks like he's just this huge troll and has made millions of dollars from doing it. Here's another one. Charlottesville car attack. In March 2018, Brennan Gilmore, who shared a video he captured of a car hitting counter protesters at the 2017 Unite the Right rally, filed a lawsuit against Jones and 6 others. According to the lawsuit, Jones said that Gilmore was acting as part of a false flag operation conducted by disgruntled government deep state employees promoting a coup against Trump. Gilmore alleged he received death threats from Jones's audience. In March 2022, Gilmore secured an admission of liability from Jones. Yeah, he's just saying whatever. He's just saying whatever about anybody that whatever crosses his mind. This is just what he says. He's like, yeah, the man on the moon wasn't real. Whatever he wants to say, it's almost like whatever the opposite that's what's going on, he'll say that, and then his fans will agree with it. And apparently he's got fans to the degree that they'll harass these people about it. They, oh man, that's crazy. And then, it goes into the Sandy Hook shooting and the lawsuits. Man, this guy's got a pattern, man. It's actually weird for somebody just to be able to say anything, just to get the views, just to get the notoriety. I mean, it is about the money, and I've said that in other videos. When things go on, look for the money. No matter what goes on, look for the money because that's the root. People do things for that paper bag of money. They'll sell out their mothers, the kids, whatever. They're worried about to get the dollar. So he has made comments on an emotional event where these kids were killed. He's made comments and said it's fake. And that's hurtful, man. And that's one thing, since I've been doing this, I want to do my best not to make allegations or accusations on something with kids. Especially kids, young kids. I mean, I'm not counting T.I.'s son as a kid. He's 18. He's a man. He can buy cigarettes. But I mean, like kids like that, especially when something like sexual abuse or being killed or something like that, man, you don't play with the kids like that. So if he was going to come with a theory, I think he would have been okay if he would have not said anything about the Sandy Hook shootings, the murders. Don't say anything about that. He'd probably still be on the same path, just saying whatever he wants to say. And I think it's not going to stop here. I think he's going to continue to say whatever he wants to say. Because in my opinion, he doesn't have $965 million. So I don't believe he's going to have to pay that kind of money. I think what'll happen more than likely, he's got some kind of LLC or S Corp or C Corp, and he's paid a salary out of that And then that 965 million is going to try to come out of that money that he get paid. He may pay himself 100,000, 200,000, 50,000. Who knows what he pays himself? But you may be able to garnish those wages or something like that. But I don't think they're going to be able to mess with his millions or whatever because they have to sue the company, but they sued him. So I'm sure there's some way that he's going to get out of have to paying it. It's in theory he would probably be broke, but I find it that he wouldn't. Here's another article. I was looking at this. It says after nearly 4-week trial, eight Sandy Hook families and a federal agent were awarded $965 million in the defamation damages from Alex Jones, who claimed the 2012 shooting that killed 20 children and 6 educators was a hoax, which is crazy. Why would you even say something like that? But questions remain on whether the plaintiffs will see any of the money. How much Jones is actually worth, his attorney has already said he'll appeal. Jones InfoWars parent company, Free Speech System, has filed for bankruptcy, and there's a veil of secrecy surrounding his finances. But see, like that already, that company, I wonder if he owns that company. Now, that would make a lot of sense that he's already bankrupting the company. So when you don't get the juice out of the raisin that he is, you go and try to, get it out of the company. But if he's already filed bankruptcy on the company, that's something he wouldn't have to worry about. Let me take a sip here. Excuse me. I drink like real cheap coffee, like Dollar General coffees. Actually, not bad. This is another part of the article. It says Jones is already on the hook for a $49 million verdict from the parent of Jesse Lewis, one of the children slain in a shooting issued by the Texas jury in a similar defamation awarded trial in the state in August. But a Texas judge is slated to consider whether Jones can invoke a state law that limits damages to $750,000. Huh. I guess in Texas, according to this article, even though they got the parents got the verdict for the 49 million, well, almost 50 million verdict, but 49 million, he may be able to invoke a state law where he just pays 750,000. He probably won't even pay that either. So I just really don't think this guy's going to be broke at the end of this. I think it's just going to be a lot of bankruptcy filing, a lot of different things like that's going to go on, and it's just going to be a big disappointment to the families. But I think it's more so, everybody wants money, but I'm thinking at this point it's not even so much the money anymore. I think it's kind of a thing that letting it be known, him saying that it was a hoax is not going to fly. So, people see this case, they look into it. You might watch this video or some other video talking about it, and they say, oh, yeah, that's just him talking. He has a pattern of just saying whatever. So his fans that listen to him should know this guy's just saying something, just saying something to be saying something. I've said this in other videos that if you talk for a living, you're bound to stick your foot in your mouth. That's just how it goes, because you're doing it all the time. You're talking, especially, radio hosts, podcast hosts or whatever. You're going to say something that's out of line, even if that's not your intention. But you're going to say something because you're going to forget the camera's on. You're going to forget that you're talking to hundreds of thousands or millions of people. You're going to forget it. You're just going to be flowing. You're just going to talk, and you're going to say something that if you said something, to your buddies or just the privacy of your own home, it would just be a laugh or not think much of it. But in this case, you could have had this same conspiracy theories about those kids and agree with them. And I imagine a lot of his fan base agree with the stuff that he says. And they probably thought that, but they didn't have a platform to say it on. And they may have just said it to a family member or a worker, and they may have agreed to it. But this guy done said it on this huge platform where everybody hears it, and for years probably been believing it. But he's been doing it as a pattern. He's been getting away with just saying stuff, and then just come back a month later. Okay, I apologize. I take it all back. Sorry. And then he goes on. But how much money has he made up until that point that he took it back? If that's the case, everybody could do that. But in this particular case, he didn't get away with just apologizing and I take it back. You know, if that's what it takes to have a platform, I mean, I could do that. I can say whatever, as if it's a fact, and then somebody say you take it back and you do this and do that, or I'm suing you. Okay, I take it back and I apologize. You know, it's ridiculous, but it's because he has such a big platform. But I want to say congratulations to those families, even though they may not see a dime of this money. My heart still goes out to those kids. They were innocent. You know, I look at all kids innocent, even if it's a bad little kid. That kid's innocent, man. He hasn't had time to have years on this earth and learn lessons and grow. And one day the American dream is to have a wife and have kids and have a house and a boat and go on vacation and camping trips. Those kids will never get to do any of that stuff. They would never get to do any of that stuff. The parents of those kids would never get to see their lineage stretch out further from those kids having kids and being able to have their grandkids. This is stuff that we take for granted because that didn't happen to us. And that's what makes what Alex Jones so insensitive. And this is why, in my opinion, that the jury favored those families because he's not caring what he says about people where it's hurting their feelings or making them be in an emotional state. None of that makes a difference to him. He's after the bag. He's after the bag of money. And when you live your life chasing that bag of money, you never stop running. You never stop running until you finally find yourself so jumped up that you got nowhere to go. Now, you can look on the internet and you can see this guy's face. He looks a level of distraught, but he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. He'll get by this. He's not going to really. They probably won't get any of this money. None of them will probably get anything. It's just news right now. It's newsworthy. People that might not know about him, never heard of him. Because I for one, I got to admit, I'm going to try to find a show or something I can look on the internet where I can hear what he's talking about. So and then it can remind me how much smoke this guy blows. It can remind me that. You know, it can remind me of that, how much this guy, you know, he's just saying something. So he's just a huge troll that makes a lot of money off of trolling, and he has this platform. So it's really up to us. Excuse me. It's really up to us, the court of public opinion, all of us, me, you, whoever, not to listen to this guy. Because the stuff I'm going to look up is probably going to be on YouTube or excuse me. The stuff I look up is probably going to be on YouTube or something minor just to get a taste of how this guy is, especially after this. If he's still talking reckless, saying these different conspiracy things, he doesn't care anything about any of this stuff. And I know it's no skin off his back and he's not losing a dime from it. I know that. I'll know that from this if nothing happens. So, but that's what I wanted to talk about. So, that's going to do it for the show. I didn't really want to go this long about this guy, but it's kind of infuriating that, you know, I've heard people just like, oh man, they did him wrong. You know, 965. I mean, he's not going to have to pay any of that. What about what he said about, what about what he said about these kids? What if it was your kid? Yeah, I always try to put myself in that position. If one of those children was mine that got killed, I don't think I would accept it as easy. I don't think I would care about a lawsuit. I'd be trying to get a hold of this guy. You know, that's not the proper way to handle things, but it seems like that's the only effective way these days. Is it has to be some fisticuff, hand-to-hand thing. It just, you know, you hate to see the world like that, but when you have things like this go on, this guy's, you know, in my opinion, he's a jerk that's going to talk about these kids and say that it's a hoax. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I didn't mean to go on this long. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell when I upload new content. Please subscribe, please like, helps the algorithm. hit the notification button. It's your boy, Carlito Monroe. Peace.